James Bond was very much Ian Fleming's fantasy alter ego. So what do you think it is about that fantasy that is so attractive?
What for Ian? Why it was so attractive? Possibly because it was someone who he couldn't be. He achieved all Ian's failings, I think, and exactly as you say just then, I had to approach this character from the point of view of someone who he hoped people saw him as, and therefore all I could understand that as being was the fact that he was an odd looking bloke for a start. He was probably, as a youngster, slightly more awkward, and he romanticised the notion of war and the secret services, and just, I think, his vivid, wonderful imagination led him to create this person who I think he was really, really desperate to be.
You read Anne's diaries as research, so what did you glean from that about her as a person?
I think when I initially read the 4 episodes, what I kept writing all over the script was why, with big kind of question marks. Why was she making these choices? Why was she compelled to be so attracted to this man, or to fall for his kind of antics? And then when I read her diaries, the jigsaw came together for me. I learned that she'd lost her mother when she was young. She was kind of passed around family members like a bit of an aristocratic waif. She had a slightly abusive nanny. The first time she kissed her childhood sweetheart, she vomited because she'd never really been truly shown affection. And then she meets this man who challenges her on every level. Their relationship was very visceral, very physical, very sensual, and full of lust and anger and hurt and pain. And it ends up being this very kind of tragic, dysfunctional love story.
Some aspects of Bond are taken from Fleming's own personality, and did you want to embrace that, or were you wary of making your performance too Bondish?
Definitely didn't want it to be too Bondish, and there were lots of moments and references in the script, just enough, I think, to the point where it doesn't become painful. But you need to nod to them. You need to say this was the man who created this idea and this world. I definitely wanted a hint of it because we weren't making a detailed biographical account of his life. We were doing a version of what he thought his life should have been.
Ian Fleming loved to shock. He loved controversy. He was also very suppressed by his kind of controlling mother, and so he had this sense of rebelling and a sense of disrespect for women, actually. What he's then written within the Bond franchise, I would say, or the Bond novels, is the ultimate hero, the man that every man wants to be and the man that every woman wants to be with, which maybe is who he hopes he would be, who he feels he is. Who knows?
I mean, do you think Fleming then is the way Ian would have liked his life to be told?
Absolutely. Yeah, I really do, actually. And hopefully, in my romantic notion, hopefully it was. And it could very well have been. There were things that we know he truly did. When he was finally at the Admiralty, some of the lavish schemes and ideas he came up with, some of them were successes. And there are people who I've met who said, no, who know, and I know that they know about the world of espionage and then the secret services. And they go, no, he was the real deal. He was when you mention it, they go, no, he was the real thing. Whereas we're still on the fence about whether it was all just this vivid imagination or whether he was. And we know that there are certain things that he did that changed the war effort dramatically. He's an amazing, amazing guy ultimately.